Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today I will be beating Dark Souls 3 with only Yhorm's Great Machete. Now, before we get started, I'd like to thank everybody for watching a lot of people for watching my last video, and then I also gained quite a bit of subscribers since my last video. I think I've gained about 40, which is absolutely insane, because I literally just hit 100, and I'm almost about to hit 200, and that's just kind of insane to me. But the rules for this challenge is I can only use the Great Machete, of course, but you need 38 strength to wield it, so I modded myself in 38 strength, but I won't upgrade strength anymore. The only way I can get more damage is through rings that increase physical damage, or just by upgrading the weapon. And I thought that was kind of fair, even though the weapon is still really broken early game, and I can almost immediately get it to +1. I still wanted to be able to actually wield it, so it wasn't just going to be an absolute slog at the beginning of the game because I'm using a weapon I can't even properly use. So yeah, moving on. Now, Gundyr was really not too difficult to take on because, I mean, I'm using a very late game weapon on the first boss. I think it's kind of a given that I'm absolutely going to chunk his health bar. But I mean, it definitely, yeah, no, this boss was insanely easy. And I mean, this is what the whole game looks like, man. Like, I literally started this on Tuesday, and I'm probably going to release it tomorrow on Wednesday. And then I've got another video that I'm planning for the weekend. So yeah, but nothing, the boss is pretty easy. He's dead. Moving on. Now, Vort was even easier than Udex, but I'm pretty sure it's probably because I got my weapon to level 1, because you can get a Titanite scale in the Cemetery of Ash, and so I went back, grabbed that, and then went to fight this guy. And so with a level 1 weapon, I was basically able to 3-shot the guy, which was pretty insane, to be real. Or, I meant 6-shot. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but yeah, no, pretty easy to kill him. Moving on. You know, this video, because I killed a lot of the bosses pretty quickly, I was trying to not use 2x speed, but I mean, this fight is actually just miserable, and I kind of took a while on it because it's just how the fight works, and so I just thought I would put it in 2x speed so I don't have to put you guys through the unbearable torture of watching Kershaw to Greatwood gameplay, or mainly just fighting the boss too. Like, that's pretty bad. So yeah, no, nothing much to say about this boss. It's god-awful, and I got grabbed twice because I was trying to rush to kill this guy. But I mean, for good reason. This is like the worst boss in all of Souls, other than like Bed of Chaos. This is probably like bottom 2. But yeah, no. But Bed of Chaos is definitely worse, for sure. There's no contest there. But this guy's almost there, really. I'm gonna be real. This guy's almost there. Especially because he's also a tree. I think they should just never do tree bosses. I think that's where they go wrong. If they have a tree boss, it just doesn't work for the game. But yeah, after a while, I finally killed this guy. Moving on. Now, after arriving in the Crystal Sage boss room, I proceed to immediately chunk the boss's health with my big machete, and pretty much stun lock it, where I can basically get him to second phase before he even really gets the chance to teleport. And so that's definitely a really good start to the fight. Second half isn't my best one because I hit multiple clones. Usually I just kind of go straight for the main guy, but after what's going to be this weekend's video, but I did most of it already during that. I'm not going to reveal what it is though. During that run, it was really hard because the attacks had some delays, and so I made sure to kill a couple of the extras. So I did it this time around, even though I didn't really need to. I decided I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't die on Crystal Sage. I just wanted to kill him first try around, and I was able to do that. So yeah, after a little bit of time and a lot of magic spam, I kill him. Moving on. Now moving on to the Abyss Watchers, which aren't really too hard because I'm able to like break their stance with one hit, but it's also the fact that I can only swing just about twice, and so I mean, it's it's not like I can stun lock them the entire time. I do have to be kind of careful. And then if I swing twice, I can't really dodge. So I can't, like, really swing twice with a clone out. But yeah, no, first phase is really easy because I can stun lock him. Second phase definitely gets a little harder because he has a lot, like, he has a lot more area of effect with his attacks because of the, like, fire trails. So I have to kind of keep my distance, but also this Great Machete is pretty big, and so while keeping my distance, I'm usually able to clip him with the tip of my weapon, and so I'm still able to get some pretty good damage off on him. And you also got to consider I'm using a late K weapon, as I've said already, and so yeah, it's pretty easy to take this guy out because I can just stun lock him. Moving on. Now the deacons were really hard to deal with. Well, not hard, really annoying to deal with, because they're always annoying, but a lot less annoying this time around because I have a big weapon that I can just, like, cleave, like, 5 of them with at a time. And so, even though I do miss that, like that first phase spawn, whatever, like, the guy who gets infested with the thing that actually does damage to the health bar, even though I didn't manage to get one of those, still able to get through pretty quickly. And then also, the deacons are just a pushover, especially because they just kind of ran away from their main guy. But here at the end, I'm just getting kind of jumped while trying to hit the guy, and I almost kind of die there because I was getting too greedy, but then I just back up, heal, and I'm able to kill him pretty quickly. I go ahead and kill the fake patches here as well because I am trying to do Secrets questline. I just didn't really show the first part because, I mean, I didn't want to make this video too long, and I'm trying to have some of the encounters be in 1x speed, and so I kind of just cut some extra stuff to not make the video like 40 minutes long, because I ideally don't want it to be that long. So yeah, no, but I am doing Secrets questline for the Yhorm fight. Now, onto High Lord Wolnir. I almost tried to combine Lord and Wolnir. That would have been awful, but yeah, no, really not too hard because it takes about 4 swings to break the bracelets, and unfortunately though, I think I missed the bracelets quite a few times on the second two because he keeps sliding his hand around, and it took me quite a while to get this last one, and I almost died to the fog too, which would have been awful, but luckily because most of my levels have been going into vigor because I can't upgrade my strength, I'm actually pretty tanky as well, so yeah, no. But after a while, I'm able to finally punch his bracelet enough for it to fall off. Moving on. I also go ahead and send Grey Rod out on his second scavenge because I'm going to need that for 3 Titanite scales to be able to level up my weapon a lot easier. Moving on to Pontiff Sullivan, where I decided to allow myself to use a shield just to parry, like, mainly that first attack. I think that's the only one I bothered parrying. I think everything else I just kind of hit him, or maybe I baited out a second charge attack. I'm not 100% sure. No, I definitely tried to bait out a second charge attack, but I didn't get it off. Second phase, I usually don't bother trying to parry because it's just, like, awful trying to parry because you're just getting jumped by 2 of them. So yeah, it's basically impossible to parry, or at least I think so. But yeah, no. After trying to rush the clone and missing, because I was just trying to get rid of that clone, I ended up actually hitting Pontiff there. And then I managed to no, I missed the clone twice. I really missed this clone a lot. I was really just, but eventually I almost killed Pontiff before I killed that clone. But yeah, no. After the clone's dead, it's pretty easy to just focus on Pontiff and chunk him because I'm using a really overpowered weapon. Now, moving on to Aldrich. Unlike my run that's about to come out this weekend, I actually did very well against Aldrich, and it didn't take me very long to kill him. I was actually able to take him out first try, I believe. I think a lot of these bosses were first try, because I think I did this run in about, like, 4 hours. Like, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure it was about 4 hours I was able to knock this run out. Like, I saw the comment asking for the run this morning, and then I was like, I mean, that's probably something I can do really quickly. And it turns out it is. I am able to do that very quickly. And so, yeah, no, hopefully he really enjoys this one. But, yeah, no, moving on to actually talking about the fight. Really not too hard, especially because I can easily hit his like head or like the body sticking out, because that usually does a lot more damage. And also I think I have like a +3 at this point, so I'm just generally doing quite a bit of damage. So yeah, moving on. Before going down to the Irithyll dungeon, I make sure to talk to Sigurd and actually make sure he's here, because if he isn't here, or you don't tell Patches to like come here, Grey Rat doesn't survive. And so this is why I did it after I killed Pontiff, because killing Pontiff was the boss I needed to kill to have him come back and give me those 3 Titanite scales. And so I just talked to him before reaching Irithyll dungeon to make sure he'd actually be there, because I want his Titanite slab that he gives me, and I also just want him there for the fight. After running through about most of the Profane Capital in Irithyll dungeon, I go ahead and free Sigurd so he will be able to join me at Yhorm's fight. And if you're doing this for yourself, make sure that you're embered when going into Yhorm's fight, otherwise I believe he doesn't spawn. But I'm not 100% sure about that, but I've just been Ember every time because I heard that that was the case. And so that's just how I've played it, just to be safe. Now moving on to Yhorm, my goal here was literally just to bait so Sigurd could like do the Storm Roller attacks and actually do damage. Like as you can see, I'm trying to get in front of Yhorm, and then I'm just biting at his ankles with his own weapon just to get him to look at me so he's not attacking Sigurd, because I tried to use it for the run I'm gonna, I tried to like use Sigurd for the run I'm gonna release this weekend, but unfortunately he died on me because he got stuck in the corner, and then Yhorm proceeded to just jump him. But as you can see there, with Yhorm's Great Machete, it's actually tall enough to hit his head when he bends down, so I'm actually able to hit his head and then do like a visceral attack on it, which actually does a good amount of damage. And so that definitely helps to speed up the fight, that I'm actually able to do some damage sometimes, as long as I'm in front of him, so I can easily hit his head and then hit the riposte. So yeah, but I'm basically just, once again, staying in the way of Yhorm to make sure Sigurd doesn't die, because if he dies, then I would have to go grab the Storm Ringer and kill him myself. And then, yeah, no, after this, I'm not really able to hit a visceral, and so I just kind of keep trying to keep him in the corner. But there isn't much else to say about this fight. It's mainly just hoping that Sigurd doesn't die, and then you just bait out the attacks as much as you can. But I get the killing blow if that counts for anything. Moving on to the Dancer fight, it really wasn't that hard. It honestly was not as good as what I used this weekend, to be honest. Like, I know I'm just comparing it to that run a lot, but I mean, I did kind of stop in the middle of making that run to do this run, and so I do actually still have to finish that one, and so it's kind of still on my mind. But yeah, no, pretty easy to kill Dancer, because, I mean, even though it's a pretty big weapon, especially if I do like the roll attacks, they're so much quicker, and also they do just about the same damage. And also another thing about using such a big weapon, I can stance break pretty easily, and so I'm able to get a lot of extra damage by just breaking the stance of the boss. But yeah, no, this weapon is honestly just incredible. Like, I didn't think it was going to be this good. Like, I thought there was going to be some drawbacks to this weapon, but honestly, if you want an easy Dark Souls 3 experience, just use this guy. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, this is, I mean, I guess you can't really get him at the beginning, but I mean, you can just use like the Sellsword Twin Plays. Those are really good too. Those are basically like a free run, which maybe I'll do a run with those some time, but I think it would just be a very easy run, and so I didn't really know if I want to necessarily do that. But yeah, no, I definitely had some trouble killing Dancer at the end because they kept flailing around at me and I wasn't able to get close. But as soon as I was able to get behind Dancer, I was able to actually start getting some hits off. But, yeah, no. This boss did kind of take me a while, because at the second phase, I kind of just backed off, because she just kept... Because in the second phase, you kind of have to be careful, because she just swings a whole lot extra, like a whole lot more than first phase. And I even actually run out of flasks here. But no, I'm able to take out Dancer. Moving on. Now moving on to Osiris, because I decided to do a couple side bosses here because I wanted the Firekeeper eyes for the ending, even though I actually forget to use them because I was just so shocked I got the game done so fast. Yeah, no, so... And I actually forgot to do the ending cutscene. I actually skip it because I freaked out that I hit the wrong button. And I ended up just skipping the cutscene, and it's... So, I mean, at the end, you'll just pretty much see, like, me kill the boss, and that's it. But yeah, no, I was just shocked I got the game done so quick. But yeah, no, on to actually talking about the fight. First phase is really easy, but the second phase is bad when the guy starts flailing around a whole lot. But that's kind of his whole gimmick, to be honest. So, what can you really expect? But, I think a good trick to do with this guy is to, like, keep him up against a wall. Because keeping him up against a wall will actually, like, make it a lot easier to hit him. Because if you're just standing in the middle, he's just going to be, like, dashing past you repeatedly. Because that's, like, what he loves to do. That's, like, his trademark move. But if you can keep him dashing at the wall in front of you, number one, he won't really hit you, and two, you can kind of just swing at him as he runs, which I think also gives counterattack damage, so that does also just help give you more damage there. But yeah, no, after a while I'm able to chop that guy out. Moving on. Now, Champion Gundyr, honestly, I feel like it was almost as easy as the first guy. Like, I know they definitely developed his moveset a lot, but I almost feel like I was doing around the same... Actually, no, I was not doing around the same amount of damage. I know I was doing quite a bit of damage, though, because I think 400 a hit is still really absurd for this game. That is probably the most damage I've ever done in a single run of this game that I've ever done. Because usually I'll use, like a straight sword or something, or, like, maybe a great sword, but not, like, something this massive. So I never really get that much damage per swing consistently. But, yeah, no, really not too hard until second phase, because then he just gets a lot more frantic with his attacks, but it's still not awful. I definitely could have helped myself out by popping an Ember before this fight, and I usually do, but I think I died trying to get the Titanite scales in the area, which, I mean, I got 4 of them because the Crystal Lizards drop 2 each, I think, and so definitely very helpful there. But I don't know, fight is really not too difficult to do. It's like the same thing as the first fight, except there's like 3 new attacks, which is the kick. Actually, I think he does the kick on the first one. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Moving on. Moving on to the Dragon Slayer armor fight, which, honestly, I think it's really funny that I know this isn't technically Ornstein, but I think Ornstein... his presence has been in all 3 games, because he's in the Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2, you've got that, like, Dark Ornstein that's in Hyde's Tower of Flame. I can't remember exactly what he's called at the minute. And then you've got Dragon Slayer armor in Dark Souls 3. So I think that's kind of cool that they have a boss that kind of is in all 3 of the games to some extent. But yeah, now onto the actual fight. Not too difficult, especially because I actually put on a little extra armor this time to help with the lightning resistance, because I know usually if you don't really wear much armor, the lightning just chunks your health. But using the robe from the deacons, it definitely helps. And I'm also able to get him into second phase pretty quickly. Given the fact that I think I have a level 5 weapon at this point, I'm not 100% sure, because I felt like I forgot to upgrade it for a minute. But I think by this point I had everything I needed to upgrade it, so I imagine I had a level 5 weapon at this point. So yeah, it was pretty easy to cut this guy down. Even if I didn't have a level 5 weapon, what I did have was fairly sufficient for killing this guy. I mean, you could probably not even upgrade the weapon and do fine the entire run. Like, if you just use, like, just this weapon, don't even upgrade it, don't even use rings that boost its damage, you could probably beat the whole game reasonably well, despite, like, not really helping your weapon out. Moving on. Moving on to the Twin Princes fight. This fight is not very hard to do, to be honest. Or at least I usually don't really have trouble with it. except for my current run that I'm doing, where I've probably been fighting them for, I probably got about 3 hours of attempts with them at the minute, and I think it's like a 20-hour run so far, so it's definitely taking quite a lot longer than this run, which I somehow managed to do in just about 4 hours, which makes me kind of want to try to learn speedrunning for Dark Souls 3, because if I'm able to just generally beat the game that fast, I almost feel like if I have speedrunning strats like known to me, I could probably beat it faster. But yeah, no. But the first phase of this isn't too hard, especially because I am absolutely chunking their health still. Because I know by this point I definitely have a +5 weapon, and so all of the fights are really easy because I'm doing like 400 damage a swing, and so it really is not too hard to deal with these guys. And then it's also really easy to hit Lothric with the sword. As long as I'm at Lorien's side, like, or back, I can easily hit the guy. But definitely a lot of projectile spam though, because I was trying to stay back when I was popping my heals, because I didn't want him to just lunge at me, because I was trying to be careful with my Estus flasks, because I mean, at this point, like, I only died to this guy once. I was trying to just get him in 2 tries. Man, this time around, though, I definitely had a lot of trouble. I wouldn't say a lot of trouble, but my first attempt, I was definitely hitting Lothric more. By the time I had Lorien at half health, the first time I had Lothric at half health. And so, yeah. And then I definitely should be pushing up more, because with me staying back some of the time, I'm definitely just getting a lot of extra projectiles that I don't want to deal with. But yeah, no, after knocking Lorien down for the first time, I'm able to get Lothric just about half health, and then I also am able to deal a little more damage to him as he's climbing up, which means he's basically on death's row at this point, like 2 more hits and Lothric's dead. And so I'm able to actually take him out second time around, having Lorien respawn, which definitely pretty good. I don't really like having to kill Lorien like 5 times just to kill Lothric. So yeah, that was definitely nice. Moving on. Now moving on to the Soul of Cinder, which I was actually able to beat first try this time around, even though usually I die quite a bit of times to him, because I've just not quite learned like some of his like extra first phase movement sets. But I'm able to deal with, I think it's mainly the Pyromancy one that screws me up. But luckily this time he didn't do that. He was actually in the sword phase, which I know really well, for like quite a while. And so I was able to deal with him pretty easily in that phase. I was actually able to get him down to just about half health before he moved on to, I think he moved on to sorcery, which is just even easier, because most of the attacks have him stand still for long enough that I can get at least 1 good hit off without taking counter damage, which is pretty nice. But yeah, no, this fight was definitely pretty easy all around, especially because the second phase is definitely a lot easier than the first, in my opinion. And so after getting through first phase, it's almost free for me, because like some of those first phase variations are still kind of tricky. But yeah, no, after getting him into second phase, as I'm doing right now, it's pretty easy to take this guy out. But yeah, no, I'm going to take this time to say thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys did enjoy watching, and if you did, maybe like, comment, and subscribe. And the reason I'm saying this now is because I lost the cutscene at the end, and I usually say that during the cutscene at the end, and so I wanted to get that in there just beforehand. But yeah, no, definitely I was kind of getting screwed up in the second phase though, because he kept doing leaping attacks that I was getting hit from. I think I almost died because he just kept spamming attacks at me, but I just kept spamming Estus. Like, I was actually having trouble getting heals off for a minute, and I thought I was screwed. But yeah, this is the part where I was talking about, where he's just spamming. I almost got hit there, and then I got hit there, and then I was back where I was. And then he did that combo, which is pretty easy to get away with if you just time the rules properly. And then I was able to chug Estus, and at this point it was over because I had a full health bar. he was like under half, about 3 hits away. And so I was trying to back off because I was trying to play it safe because I didn't really want to have to do this guy a second time around. That's why I didn't just wail on him while he threw that thunderbolt in the air. I just kind of stayed back for a minute. But then I was finally able to kill Soul Cinder, and in a grand total of 4 hours, I was able to beat Dark Souls 3 with only Yhorm's Great Machete. Once again, I really hope you guys did enjoy watching, and maybe like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.